drop, sorry.
Alrighty, we're calling this meeting to order at 4:02 p.m. So we will first start with our land recognition statement. Student government acknowledges that we live, work, and learn in the homeland of the Dakota people, whose language frames our institution's name, Minnesota State University, Mankato. So now we will be moving into roll call. Senator Hassan, I believe I saw on Zoom. Perfect. Senator Leon.
Present.
Senator Franzen.
Here.
Senator Miyoshi. Okay. Senator Prignitz.
Here.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Senator Emke's on Zoom. Senator Ponte.
Here.
Senator Bugney.
Present.
Senator Reyes.
Here.
Senator Maega. Here. Senator Mpenga. Senator Lee. Senator Dietrich.
Here.
Senator Smith, I don't think it's on Zoom. Senator Johnson.
Yep.
Senator Moore. Senator Maba's on Zoom. Senator Karki.
Here.
Senator Livingston.
Here.
Senator Riggle.
Here.
Senator Colleran.
Here.
Senator Zelmer.
Present.
Senator Ide.
Here.
Senator Hillstead.
Here.
Senator Isaac.
Here.
I'm here, President Narala.
Present.
And VPJ.
Present.
And we do have the forum. So moving on, is to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there any dissent to the consent agenda? Any dissent? Alright, seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. We'll move to presentations. We don't have any presentations. We move to open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? Yes, if you'd like to go up to the podium and then give us your name.
Hello, Madam Speaker, President, Vice President, and all those distinguished guests today. My name is Sanjaya Balami. I'm an alumni here in MSU, currently studying in South Central College. I'm also very much a concerned community leaders for Nepali community here on campus as well. And I have been doing and serving a Nepali community for I think 10 years. I have a very big concern. I just want to present here today in front of all the distinguished senators and the president and all those distinguished guests here. Recently, we just had a very bad accident here in Monks Avenue. I think you all have heard that. And it's been a concern to all those residents and as well as the students who are studying here in MSU. My biggest proposals, if the off-campus senator will love to initiate that, will be so much awesome and will be much more helpful for our, not only for Nepali community, to all the residents who is residing over there in Monks Avenue. It's been a 4 serious accident reported there in Monks Avenue, which was all 4 of those were from Nepali community, especially female. We do study here in MSU and sometimes we miss bus. Sometimes bus does not come and we need to prioritize our study as well. And all of those women or the students who was coming and crossing from that zebra crossing, that street have been badly injured. She just was injured. She has her pelvis fracture, and my fellow Vishal is also here, and he has been taking all those report on him. But the last 3 was also very badly, seriously injured, and they have to be in the hospital for a long period of time, and then could not do anything. So my biggest, and I think our proposals for, if like, I think, can you distribute the proposals to the speakers? Sorry, if I have a time, thank you. Like, we're here to propose the installations of flashlight, the walking cross if possible. I know MSU don't have a jurisdiction over there, but I think if MSU can recommend, that will be so much great for any pedestrian who can walk, cross safely. This is not only a matter of the safety is also a concern to all the students here who are, I think, have a right to walk safely as well. And there is no any lights during the lights. In these conditions, it's very, very hard to walk. And then I don't blame anybody, but but that is one of the biggest concern. I think me and Bisal were like talking, no, this is it. This is a four Nepali students who is victim with this car accident. I think no more. We need to stop this. And then let main proposal for this one is to install or at least recommend the city to install over in the Monks Avenue. And then what is the benefit for this proposal? Improve safety, one of the biggest concern, and then we will have our any students or any pedestrian can walk safely and cross over there because we have a lot of community. All the students who stay reside in this highland area. Sorry, the highland and the I think that's mostly the Highland Hill apartment, and that will be so much great if you do that. It will also help to increase the awareness with the surrounding, and then people will be aware that hey, there's a flashlight over there. We need to slow down a bit, and also community well-being by addressing that safety concern. Minnesota State University Mankato will demonstrate the commitment to the well-being of its students and the border community as well. And I think those are the main benefit we will get as well, and also the main concern will be like our student will be safe here. So Bisal Patel and me, we brought this proposal. I hope anybody can initiate this one, and then again, thank you so much for letting us speak, us as in a voice of all the students, and you guys are the voice of students here, and I hope that you will take this in a very concerned manner. And thank you once again, and thank you so much for giving us the time. Thank you.
I do want to give a point of clarification. If any of you live in the Highland Hills area, and know where the quads are, so like that separation, that's Monks Road that separates that area. There have been at least 2 accidents this week alone that people have been hit in the 3 unmarked, like the 3 crosswalks between the 2 stoplights. So the one on the stadium and Monks crosswalk, so by the Quick Trip, and the other one by the All Seasons Arena or whatever. So there's 3 crosswalks there that are marked, and students have been hit in those 3 crosswalks because people don't stop for students to cross. And they also just go. But I saw Senator Karki,
I just wanted to address that with a little remark, is that has been a problem that has been noticed and considered. There is a sidewalk specific project that has been going on as well. Initiated that, but because of time commitments, I couldn't dedicate myself to it, but we have another senator who is working through that. So the president, I and Senator Livingston would be very happy to talk about this more and find creative ways to get this working. Thank you.
Senator Hillstead.
I attended the comprehensive facility plans work group meeting yesterday, and that was also a main talk of a short-term site strategy is to improve passenger pedestrian safety. And they talked about like Stadium Road, they talked about Monks and everything. So they're trying to implement that into their new programs too. So that's something I'd be willing to support and talk to them about.
And then Senator Livingston.
Thank you for being here. I want to echo Senator Karki's comments. I'm also doing a kind of education campaign for pedestrian safety later this semester, and I'll be more than happy if you want to reach out to me after Senate. I'll be more than happy to connect, and hopefully we can get something planned out. I think that'd be very, very it's much needed. So thank you.
Is there anyone else here for open forum? Yes, Brian.
Hello, my name is Brian Schneider from IT Solutions. And I want to give everybody a heads up of a minor change that's going to be happening to the MAV guest network starting next Monday morning. If you're using the Edge Roam network, you're good to go. If you're on the Edge Roam network, you'll be able to use Edge Roam not only here for the entire time that you're a student, but any other school that you go to that has an Eduroam network, you'll automatically be on their Eduroam network. So we're encouraging everybody to get on Eduroam and use Eduroam. But if you're on the Mav Guest network, it's going to be, the change is going to be encouraging you to get on Eduroam. Or if you want to just use a temporary login, you'll have to log in using your Star ID and password. So it is kind of minor, but we are going to try to get everybody onto Eduroam if possible. But if not, you have to log in with your Star ID and password on Mav Guest. So that's the only change, but I wanted to give you a heads up that that's going to be coming, and that's going to be taking effect on Monday morning. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Any questions?
I'll
Oh,
yield. I'll yield.
President Hall is yielding to John in the gallery.
I'm gonna form this as a question because I know it's true. Is it not true that Eduroam is also available around the world if you are on the Eduroam network?
Did everybody hear that? Yeah, Eduroam, if you're on the Eduroam network and you travel to any other educational institution around the world that has Eduroam, you'll automatically get on their network without having to do anything.
President Narala.
If you're not on Eduroam already, you should get on Eduroam. I was in New York over Christmas break and it got connected to the NYU Wi-Fi because of Eduroam. And even if you're traveling out of country, I've heard from friends who have done study abroad, and I think Becca can attest to it, you'll get connected to Wi-Fi networks from all across the world. And so if you know friends and you see them connecting to Mav Guest instead of Eduroam, get them on Eduroam ASAP.
Senator Riggle.
I echo President Roshit's comment. Whilst I was in Arizona, I also had access to Eduroam for a speech and debate tournament. However, I would like to question, what about people who come onto campus who need to use the Wi-Fi? Would they be unable to access Mav Guest with that change?
Guests will still have the ability to get on. There's some areas that we have a lot of guests, like here in the CSU, Myers Fieldhouse, President Arena, and then there's a couple other meeting rooms on campus that they'll be able to click on Mav Guest and get right on. But in academic areas, we'll have a guest code available for them. And we'll have those guest codes available on the fountain so that they'll be able to give access to those guests when they arrive. So yes, we will be able to accommodate guests. Good question, thank you.
Senator Maega.
Oh, I just wanted to echo what Rashid and Grace have been saying. I was also able to use mine in France. Literally, I was so shocked. And I yield to redundancy for questions. It's like the Mav Guest is for guests. So if you don't have Star ID to log in, so what would happen for guests that come on campus just to visit stuff? So I yield to redundancy.
Thank you.
Senator I.
For those not in the know, do you have any information on how to actually sign up for Eduroam?
Yeah, if you just connect to the Mav Guest network, it will direct you to the Eduroam network. And you'll just have to go through a little program, it's called Join Now, that you download to your device. And what that'll do is that'll download a secure certificate on your device, and then you'll have to authenticate, so put in your Star ID and password, and then it's gonna put that certificate on your device, and you'll be good to go. Right now, if you are on the Mav Guest network and you go to wifi.mnsu.edu, it'll step you through that process, that authentication and process, and you'll be good to go.
Any other questions?
And if anybody has any problems getting onto Eduroam, they can come to our Solution Center and they'll give you support and help doing that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, anyone else here for open forum? Alrighty, seeing none, we'll move into our Dean of the Day, Dr. Yin, who is the Associate Dean for the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. We can clap, it's okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here and to meet with you. I'm Laura Yin, acting associate dean. Actually, I'm a faculty in Department of Mathematics and Statistics for 17 years. I see familiar face on this table as well. Today I would like to report to you on the change in the about last 1 year in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. For Computer Information Science Department, we have got the Master of Artificial Intelligence program approved. So starting fall, we are going to recruit students. And for the bachelor degree in artificial intelligence, faculties are working on that program. Hope we can get that created and approved soon. And in the electric and computer engineering department, we also created the robotic engineering program. Currently, the bachelor program already got approved, and the master program is also under construction. And at the same time, we terminated the technology program, which means the computer engineering technology and electrical engineering technology program is going to be terminated start in this fall. So we're going to continue to support our current technology program students until they graduate. But we are not going to recruit new students in these two technology programs. And also in automobile engineering technology and manufacturer engineering technology department, these two technology program is also going to suspend in this fall. And for new students we recruit will be manufacturer engineering and automobile engineering students. So not technology students anymore. So the change for this is to give our students better training to prepare them to the career. And for the fundraising part, in this year, we received more than $4.5 million. And for faculty research award, the research funding increased from 4 billion to more than 10 billion this year. And we also invested $713,000 for the new equipment. It's called forced load analyzer in engineering lab. And we also invested a significant amount of funding to improve and advance several labs in the College of Science, Engineering, Technology. In this whole year, we hired 11 probationary faculty, 15 fixed-term faculty, 8 staffs, and 27 adjunct faculties. So which means during the year, the College of Science, Engineering, Technology have a lot of advancement and have a lot of new faces to join this group. I'd like to answer any questions from you.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Senator Lee.
Actually, it's my first time to ask a question, so please forgive me. So what I understood is, so manufacturing engineering and automobile engineering will suspend it.
technology, manufacture engineering technology,
Oh,
and automobile engineering technology,
uh-huh.
electrical engineering technology,
Uh-huh.
computer engineering technology program is going to suspend.
So it's actually kind of a lot of programs in MNSU, and I think these majors kind of very popular among students. So
Yes,
can I ask why?
because the industry wants students have or their new employees have more solid knowledge or training in engineering. So we are actually, for those programs, we have a relatively small number, especially electrical engineering technology and computer engineering technology. We already see the decreasing for the student numbers. In about 10 years ago, we have more than 100 students, but now we have 20 plus students in the program. So same thing, the industry for the manufacturer engineering area and the automobile engineering area, they want our students is have the engineering program instead of the engineering technology program. So technology kind of more hands-on skill, and engineering have both hands-on skill and solid theoretical training. So we actually advanced our program to a more higher level. If that sounds very President.
Yeah, thank you.
President Narala.
And then just an extension, correct me if I'm wrong, but any student who's currently enrolled will be graduating with that major, correct?
Yes. So we're suspend, or we call it a phase out from the ABET. It's a phase out. So we have a 3, or even we can request another 1 year to make sure our students currently enrolled in the program graduate.
And then Senator Mpenga.
I just wanted to ask, are there like any like communication so that people know about like the changes in like the CSAT and the majors to let students know?
Yeah, so this is just happened this week. Actually, we just submit our request for phase out our technology program to the ABET. So department is going to reach out to each students to have a study plan or graduation plan to make sure you're graduate next year or the next other 2 or 3 years or even 4 years. So based on your situation.
And then Senator Moore.
I know a problem that I've been seeing with a lot of people who are either in CIS, CS, or just classes that have to take specific programming classes, that there's been a problem trying to get into these classes, either availability or just like the number of people. Is the upcoming artificial intelligence program expected to impact that at all? Sort of.
So the artificial technology program, as far as I know, the master program has already been approved. So the Bachelor of Science program is under construction. So faculty are working on the program. There's no timeline that's when, the approved procedure is sometimes very quick, sometimes maybe take longer time.
And then Senator Maega.
Thank you for talking to us today. So I was wondering, with the new masters in AI major, I know a lot of students in the data science program that wants to switch to AI. So will it be an easy process to go from data science to AI? Like, will they have common courses, or will they have like to go over the whole program again? Like, how's the process gonna be?
So I would like to refer you to to the program coordinator, that's Dr. Reggie. Yeah, yeah. So it's just recently approved. So I think many detail and how students transfer and what's the common courses. So they are already released. I think will be released very soon from the catalog.
Alrighty, seeing no other questions, thank you for.
I'll yield
Yeah.
to the audience. Just a question about the AET program. So if you are graduating next spring at the May, would you still be able to get the
The A-Bachelor credential? Yes. Yes. Even though you graduate in 3 years, or even if in some special case you need to extend, we will guarantee you have the ABAC credential. So it's called phase out. So which means that we stop to recruit new students, but the credential will continue up to 4 or even 4 years to make sure you graduate from the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll yield.
So why did it take 2 years off? Like if a student decide to take 2 years out of school, they come back, how will your situation be?
So you graduate in 2 years?
If a student takes 2 years off, eventually come back to school, how will your situation be?
So if you can finish after you came back after 2 years, right? And
Continue student right now,
you
decide to take 2 years out of school and then come back to MSU, how will your situation be?
So you can, it depends on your situation, whether to see if you can still graduate within 2 years when you come back. If not, maybe you're going to be suggested to the engineering program, because at most we can keep our program credential from ABAC up to 4 years from this. So from 26. So which means our credential will be kept up to 2029. And we may possible request another 1 year, so which means 2030. So if after 2 years you come back, and then based on how many courses or how many credits you already have by then, and to see whether you can graduate by 2030 or not. If you can, you're okay, you don't need to change anything. If you couldn't, so then whether you consider to switch to the engineering program or transfer to other universities. So that's the situation. So the professor is going to reach out to each student currently in the technology program to make a study. So you will know your status.
Thank you for coming in and speaking with us today. Alrighty, moving on is to officer reports. I'll yield to President Narala.
Awesome. I'll keep this short just because we do have trivia to win. But today I had the opportunity to meet with our student groups downstairs for demonstration. If you haven't met with them, you should definitely go out and talk with them and have a conversation about what they're demonstrating. We as student government have re-emphasized again and again that we'll uphold and protect our students' freedom of speech and expression. And I had the opportunity of meeting with them. I did refer them, they had a lot of different complaints, including class cancellation and tuition increases. I've referred them to talk with the provost on February 20th, so they can directly have one-on-one conversation with him at Coffee and Conversation. So if you don't have anything on February 20th, and remind me what the time is.
1 to 2 p.m.
Awesome. You should definitely put that on your calendar to have a conversation with the provost. Earlier last week, we had attended Meet and Confer and heard about the different updates. I wanna thank Dr. Yin for sharing some of those updates. Let's see if I can pull the document. While I get that pulled up, Vice President Jay and I had the opportunity to meet with President Inch. In our meeting, it was a pretty short meeting, but we were able to emphasize the need for an immediate task force on campus that's able to address student, staff, faculty concerns as soon as possible. He's mentioned to us that he'll be sharing that with his cabinet, and we'll learn more as we go about the task force. I did have President's Commission on Diversity earlier this week. PCD will be hosting their first community forums as a way to create safe spaces for different conversations on campus, starting Thursday, February 20th from 9 to 11 at CSU 253, and again at 4 to 5. Vice President Morris, along with other different directors of different divisions, are going to be there. And so if you're hearing different concerns and you're hearing students wanting to talk about those different things, definitely refer them to these open sessions where they're able to attend and talk with different department directors, including Vice President Morris, who's planning on attending to be there. Other than that, Speaker Youngberg and I had the opportunity to attend student wage subgroup on Friday, and it was a really productive meeting because earlier this week, we were able to talk about a recommendation from student wage subgroup of a potential $13.50 student minimum wage on campus. So we'll still be working on that on our end. That's still up for discussions. We'll be talking about it in committees with all of you, but that's something that we're looking at on university level. And I'll defer over to Vice President Jay and Speaker Youngberg to talk about the other meetings that we've had. Stand for questions.
Senator Zelmer.
I was wondering, I noticed that some other senators had the opportunity to sign up for the advocacy day, but I never received the email, and I know other senators may have not received that email. I was wondering.
Senator Zelmer, you've received invitation for lobby day and you did not respond. If it's lobby day that you're talking about, you've gotten an email and you haven't responded, and that was 4 weeks ago.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. But yes. Any other questions?
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Seeing none, I will move over to Vice President Jay.
Oh, hey everybody. The main thing, I'm gonna try to keep this short today. The main thing that I have an update on is the February budget sub-meet meeting was yesterday. There were a lot of updates that got brought up at this. I'm gonna highlight a few. So we received new updates on potential tuition increases and possible changes in banding credits. Right now, the university is banded from 12 to 18 credits, as well as we have been in a tuition freeze for the last few years. That tuition freeze is now coming to an end because it's typically only allotted for a certain period of time. So we're coming to that ending time. So now we're looking at all the updates. So the current figures being shown that we saw yesterday show a somewhere between a 7 to 9% increase. Again, I want to say none of this is finalized. This is all just being talked about. And then depending on that percentage of a 7 to 9% potential increase, there's a possible change in what our banded credits might be. So currently, there's a task force looking at either potentially going to 13 plus credits being banded or 15 plus credits being banded, rather again than the current 12 to 18. So we want to make you all aware of this, especially going into budget season and fee presentations, because if tuition is increased, students will pay more, obviously. And if fees are increased, that would be an even greater increase in impact on students' financial burden. So everything obviously goes toward students paying it. And then also, if the banding of credits change, that could potentially impact the credit base that fees are based on, also increasing how much students would have to pay in fees. So the main reason for looking at all of these increases that the university is looking at right now is to work on decreasing our current deficit. The university is currently in an $8 million-ish deficit. We've spoken about that a few times. And again, we have been in a tuition freeze for the past few years, so no increases have happened in order to try to keep up with inflation, increasing costs for just maintaining an overall university. It's very expensive to run a university, especially one of this size and everything. So yeah, that's some of the main reasons. There's obviously more than that. If you are at all interested in seeing the scenarios that have been presented at Budget Summit, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to show you them, walk you through them, and give you more in-depth information that we've received at these Budget Summits. And then I would be more than willing to take any questions, concerns, comments to the March Budget Summit because we meet once a month. So I'm more than happy to compile a list from students and go back to the summit and be like, hey, this is how students are feeling right now. So please feel free to reach out to me about that if you're interested at all. I'd love some student input.
Senator Riggle?
Would changing the banded tuition amount impact the credit amount required for full-time student status?
Yes, so if, let's say, so right now, the tuition is banded from 12 to 18, and in order to be considered full-time, you have to be right at 12 or more. Let's say, for scenario purposes, let's say the banding would move to 13 plus credits, you would then need to be taking 13 credits in order to be considered a full-time student.
Dr. Jones, if you might want to chip in, with the change in banding, will the full-time status also shift from 12 credits to 13 credits? The answer is no, I'm assuming. Because the full-time status would still remain at 12, correct? Yeah. With the change in banding from 12 credits to 13 credits and the different options that we're considering, a student would be considered full-time with 12 credits regardless of how banding works on the other end.
So there's two answers to that question. So for federal financial aid purposes, absolutely 12. We as a university are trying to change what's normalized is encouraging everybody to take more than 13 credits.
For federal reasons, a 12 credit would be a full-time student.
For eligibility for federal financial aid, yes.
But for the university, it would go with the banding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions?
I can yield.
So for international students, it is compulsory to have at least 9 grades of on-campus classes, and they can take 3 grades online classes now. Would that change as well?
No, they're having conversations for if tuition would also increase for graduate students and for international students if undergraduate students increase. No decisions about those have been made. They were just conversations and questions that got brought up yesterday. But in terms of that, I don't think that would change.
And that is a federal regulation that says 9 credits of in person and then the rest of the 3 to have it to 12. It's not a university guideline, and so unless the federal government makes changes on those, that would remain constant. Thanks for the question.
Alrighty, any other questions? Already seeing none, my report, I'm just gonna talk about City and University. Met with Bethany and South Central, they're all there, and also the city of Mankato. They talked a lot about housing and then issues that are brought up with the new U Square apartments, and then it's also been brought up to my attention as well that we do need to talk to the city about how they're advertising the apartments at U Square because they're saying that some of them are 3 and 4 bedrooms, but by law, to be considered a bedroom, they have to have some form of exit, and some of these bedrooms do not have a window or a way to the outside, so they are technically not bedrooms. They are considered offices, and that's false advertising, and that is an issue. So if we can bring that up at some point to the city, hopefully our next meeting or even closer. Or I think folks who have brought that issue to me want to talk about that with John. That would be great, because I know John's all gung ho about that. And then also, we are encouraging the off-campus housing survey that we got to be presented to the city, and Senator Karki is going to be doing that hopefully at the end of February or March to present that to them. And then there's also Narcan training on campus being talked about on the other campuses, so we're not the only ones. They're also trying to work on transfer pathways too. They were curious about that with transfer pathways between all three universities, so they're curious about it. And then also they're looking at adding like some additional bus routes, especially with South Central, because there's only one that goes to South Central. So they're looking at doing more additional bus routes for that, because we are not the only school that uses the bus. So they want to try to, the city wants to be a little bit more equitable with other students who live in the area. But that's kind of really about it. Also, one last thing, last week, Vice President Jay asked you all to go and fill out a time to sign up for a center report. Only about half of you did that, so that's like very frustrating for me, because we're trying to get through a lot of this, and that's also required for your senator pay. So if you haven't do that, you have until the end of this week to sign up for one. Thank you. And then I don't know what else. I'm gonna yield to you, because I don't know what you're saying.
Thank you. We'll be heading out for Lobby Day. I did forget to mention that. Next week on Monday and Tuesday, there's a delegation of about 8 Mankato students that will be going up to the cities to talk with the legislators. If you guys were in the presentations from Students United where they talked about their state agenda, that's what we'll be talking with the different legislators about. The other thing, I'm gonna send out this piece of paper, which is the Pedal Past Poverty event. There are still a couple of slots that are missing, and so if new times have popped up and you guys are interested, please feel free to sign up.
Were there any questions for me? Okay, if not. Okay, so are there any questions for me? Seeing none, great. Sorry, we're gonna be late for trivia if we don't move this meeting along, so just wanted to say that. Senator Karki?
First,
Yes.
do we have an election?
Yes.
We want to take that too.
There's a discussion point we can have with the Senate. Do we wanna table the election to next week?
John, if we.
I don't think he's
John,
present.
can we table elections?
Sure can.
Awesome.
I don't see him.
Second.
Yeah, I would make a motion to table the rest of the agenda for next week, including the Senate reports and elections.
Is there a second? Alrighty, is there any dissent to tabling the rest of our agenda? Alrighty, seeing none,
Table the announcements.
we're tabling announcements, great, perfect. So then we're gonna be going into final roll call. Alrighty.
Madam Speaker, can I just make a request of senators
Oh,
real
wait,
quick?
Table John
somebody like
next
to-
week.
I'll yield to
Sorry.
John.
John.
Thank you. If I can, next week, I do give a presentation, 10,000 foot view look at the student fees and the student fee process. I will post that in your Senate folder before the meeting, the final version of that presentation, so that you can review it before. But please plan to be there and listen. So traditionally, that's been all one presentation that deals with all things fees. Next week, I'm just gonna take a 10,000 foot view look at the differing fees, and then a couple weeks later, we're gonna look at the student activity fee in particular. So please come prepared. Stuff starts next week, and a reminder, next week's the last week to fill vacancies, so.
Perfect, thank you, John. Alrighty, final roll call. Senator Hassan, which I believe is on Zoom. Senator Leon. Senator Franson. Senator Miyachi.
Ew, why did you do that?
Senator Prignitz.
Sorry.
Senator Emke's on Zoom. Senator
That's the picture I
Ponte,
was sent.
Senator Bugny, Senator Reyes, Senator Maega, Senator Mpenga, Senator Lee,
Here.
Senator Dietrich,
Here.
Senator Johnson, Senator Moore, Senator Maba, Zoom, Senator Karki, Senator Livingston, Senator Riggle,
Here.
Senator Colleran,
Present.
Senator Zelmer, Senator Ide,
Present.
Senator Hillstead, Senator Isaac. I'm here, President Rolo,
Present.
DPJ, and this meeting is adjourned at 4:47 PM.
Alrighty guys, we'll be heading over to Taylor Center. Make sure you're there within the next 13 minutes. And also, happy birthday, Suhay.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Yeah, you could have said that without putting that.
Like our birthday.
That was a weird.
Oh, well, I know what it is. And we do this a few different times here. I know where it is. I think
Is it by the
like trivia.
If we're late, then we're late. We've only been here for a year.